Adolf Hitler is one of the most well-known and reviled figures in history. As the leader of Nazi Germany, he orchestrated both World War II and the Holocaust, events that led to the deaths of at least 40 million people. In the ensuing decades, he was the subject of countless books, documentaries, and TV shows. This list presents some notable, and a few lesser-known, facts about him. Adolf Hitler is one of the most infamous individuals in world history. This Austrian-born German politician's actions had a significant impact on the world, but it was not a positive one. The world remembers him as a symbol of cruelty and wickedness, especially because of his role as a Nazi dictator of Germany, as well as his key roles in World War II and the gruesome Holocaust. Learn more about this cruel leader's life with these intriguing Adolf Hitler facts. Number 1. Hitler was rejected from art school more than once. We know that Hitler's failed art career eventually led to his life of fascism. But you may not know that he actually applied to art school twice, and was rejected so hard the second time that he wasn't even allowed to sit in on the entry exams. Even now, art experts maintain that Hitler was a subpar artist. He lacked a feeling for people. His work showed a profound uninterest in people. He was once encouraged to apply to the School of Architecture. Hitler, of course, blamed his failure on Jewish teachers. Number 2. His father's last name was originally Schicklgruber. Adolf Hitler's father, Alois Hitler Sr., was the illegitimate son of Maria Anna Schicklgruber. Maria was unmarried at the time of Alois's birth, and so his name was originally Alois Schicklgruber. Johann Georg Hitler, who some speculate was Alois's biological father, married Maria in 1842. Alois was made legitimate in 1876, and a priest annotated the baptismal certificate of Alois and registered Johann Georg Hitler as his father. Other civil authorities soon followed suit, and Alois then adopted the last name, Hitler, although the legal documents spelled Hitler as Hitler. It is uncertain why the spelling change occurred. Although Adolf reportedly had a close relationship with his mother, Clara, he wasn't always on the best of terms with his father. Alois Hitler was 51 when Adolf was born, and he showed little interest in raising children. He left most of the care to his wife, and he reportedly beat her and their children. Adolf reportedly disliked and feared his father, and the two would often fight. Alois Hitler wanted Adolf to take up a career in civil service, but Adolf greatly disliked the idea. Adolf adamantly refused his father's wishes. Alois died when Adolf Hitler was just 14 years old. Number 3. World War I service. When he committed suicide in 1945, Hitler was wearing the Iron Cross First Class Medal, earned for his service in World War I. The honor was especially important to Hitler, who had portrayed himself as a hero during the conflict. Although he was wounded during the First Battle of the Somme, recent research challenges Hitler's account of his war experience. Some believe that he saw little if any frontline action and instead was a runner at the relatively safe regiment headquarters. This would counter his claims that he was in danger probably every day. In addition, while he stated that he was temporarily blinded during a mustard gas attack in 1918, purported medical documents state that he suffered from hysterical blindness. He was recuperating when Germany surrendered. Oddly, his citation for the Iron Cross First Class fails to mention a specific incident of bravery, leading some researchers to speculate that it was given to honor Hitler's length of service and his general likability with officers, notably Hugo Gutmann. a Jewish lieutenant who recommended that Hitler receive the award. Thank you for accompanying us so far. For your support. Thank you for commenting on the subscriber and how you felt about this video. Number 4. From fire to fire. Following a series of maneuverings and intrigues, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany in January 1933. However, he aspired to even greater power, and that was achieved when Germany's parliamentary building caught fire and was severely damaged on February 27, 1933. While Hitler's involvement in the Reichstag fire remains uncertain, a lone communist was later convicted of the crime. He used the event to solidify his authority. The day after the blaze, he oversaw the suspension of all civil liberties, and in the following month's election, the Nazis and their allies secured a majority in the Reichstag. On March 23, 1933, the Reichstag passed the Enabling Act, which sanctioned Hitler's dictatorship. Then, in August 1934, shortly after the death of Press Paul von Hindenburg, the German people voted to give Hitler complete authority, combining the offices of Chancellor and President to create the post of Freier und Reichskanzler. Number 5. Teetotaler, vegetarian, and drug user. In attempting to build a master Aryan race, the Nazis were known for promoting health-conscious policies. So, it is perhaps not surprising that Hitler was reportedly a teetotaler, non-smoker, and vegetarian. However, his healthy habits were undermined by his alleged use of opiates. According to recent research, in 1941 his personal physician, Theodore Morel, began injecting him with various drugs, including oxycodone, methamphetamine, morphine, and even cocaine. In fact, drug use was reportedly prevalent throughout the Nazi Party, and soldiers were often given meth before battle. Near the end of his life, Hitler was prone to shaking, and, while some have attributed this to Parkinson's disease, others have speculated it was withdrawal from drugs, which by then were hard to obtain. Number 6. Rumor has it that Hitler had bred an army of talking dogs. According to Dr. Jan Bonson, Hitler and his henchmen rounded up educated dogs with whom they communicated, and got even one to bark, made Führer. These dogs were supposed to help win the war, which makes a bit of sense considering Hitler was heavily attached to his dogs, Blondie and Bella. Number 7. A priest saved him from drowning in a river as a child. When Adolf Hitler was just 4 years old, he fell into the river in Passau, southern Germany. He reportedly was playing with his friends when he fell into the freezing cold water. Johann Kayberger, a priest, then jumped into the icy water to rescue the young boy. Although Hitler himself never confirmed the event, a German newspaper from 1894 provided evidence for this unusual story. Now that's certainly among the most interesting Adolf Hitler facts. Number 8. He never visited a concentration camp. During Hitler's regime as the Chancellor of Germany, the Nazi Party established more than 1,000 concentration camps and extermination camps, such as that in Auschwitz. These concentration camps initially held members of the Communist Party, then they eventually held more groups of people such as Jews, criminals, and asocials. At one point, the concentration camps held around 1.65 million registered prisoners. Around 1 million people died in these camps, and hundreds of thousands also died during the death marches towards the end of World War II. Extermination camps were much worse, as these camps only served as killing grounds for millions of people, mostly Jews. These extermination camps were central to the gruesome Holocaust, and the Nazis systematically murdered millions of people through gassing and starvation in these camps. The cruel dictator Adolf Hitler never personally visited any of these concentration or extermination camps. Number 9. Hitler was Time's Man of the Year in 1938. One of the most controversial Adolf Hitler facts is that he was Time magazine's Man of the Year Person of the Year in 1938. They explained that the title was not an honor or praise but instead a distinction that features a person, group, idea, or object that influenced the world for better or for worse. Time magazine also featured other controversial figures as Person of the Year, such as Joseph Stalin 1939 and 1942, Nikita Khrushchev 1957, and Ayatollah Khomeini 1979. Number 10. He married Eva Braun a day before they died. Eva Braun and Adolf Hitler engaged in a relationship by the end of 1932, about a year after the death of Hitler's half-niece Jelly Robbel. Braun herself attempted to end her own life twice early in her relationship with Hitler. She was a photographer who took many of Hitler's surviving films and photographs, and she was a key figure in Hitler's social circle. Hitler married Braun within his Berlin bunker on April 29, 1945, just a day before their deaths. Towards the end of World War II, the Red Army and the Western Allies both closed in on Germany. On April 30, 1945, the Soviet army was only a block or two away from Hitler's bunker in Berlin. Fearing capture, Adolf Hitler and his wife Eva Braun took their own lives. Hitler died by a gunshot to the head, while Braun took a cyanide pill. Hitler was only 56 when he died, while Braun was 33.